to shut you with goodness, with confirm and talk the honorary degree of His Royal Majesty Otumfuo II. Ahead of that, we're going to have a musical rendition by 7 from the Department of Music. After the point where parents would be coming up competitions, people that Your Majesty, who was elected second, I respectfully ask that you rise as a citation is read by the co-vice chancellor of UCC, Professor Otumfuo. Asantehene, from 1977 to 2016. And direct descendant of the founder of the Asante Kingdom, Osei, ascended the holy throne on 26th April 1999 as the 16th Asantehene. From early childhood, you came under the tutelage of your uncle, Majesty, who sought your childhood development through careful pruning in Asante traditions and statecraft. In 1964, you started your national education. Your secondary school education took you to Otumfuo Secondary School in the Western North in Ghana, while you started class in 1969 and enrolled at the Osei Secondary School. In 1971, you moved to Accra to pursue your education at the Institute of Course in Accountancy. 2 years into that, you headed to the United Kingdom to continue with your accountancy studies at the Kilburn Polytechnic. Later, you attended the University of Scotland, where you studied human resource development and public administration. Your Majesty, you returned to Ghana in 1989 to establish your own business, Transport International, Ghana Limited. Your international exposure paved the way for you to gather a wealth of experience as senior consultant with Mutual of Oman Insurance Company of Toronto between 1981 and 1985. Finance officer at the British firm Oxford, London, and as personnel administrator at the Manpower Services Commission, Account to Brain Council in London. Your natural gift of calm and radiance inspires loyalty and serves as an inspiration for those around you. Your diplomacy and tact among your peers is easily recognizable and complements your traditional leadership qualities towards reconciliation. In 2012, you demonstrated your love for peace and democracy by convincing leaders of the various political parties in Ghana to sign a pledge to ensure peace before, during, and after Ghana's presidential and parliamentary elections. You also embarked on an historic trip to Seychelles Island, where one of your predecessors, was exiled by the British for resisting their imperialism during his reign. To encourage religious dialogue, you addressed the Kingdom House in the United Kingdom on the need for a forum for dialogue among the various religions and proposed the creation of a forum akin to the World Economic Forum for the pursuit of such a dialogue. Among many glorious, Your Majesty, you stand out as an astute statesman with high pedigree in the foundation of cooperation with both traditional and modern trends. You have initiated projects that have put your traditional leaders into a new learning process that enables them to lead their versatile among your people, as well as encourage them to pursue cultivation instead of irrigation, especially in numerous land and succession disputes that have plagued Asantehene for decades. Over the period of your reign as Asantehene, you have brought peace and reconciliation to Asante. Your ability to settle over 500 land and chieftaincy disputes, which would have sparked agitations among your people and elsewhere, is commendable. You remain one of Ghana's most sought after leaders in international matters. As a traditional leader, your leadership and negotiation skills came to the fore when the state, recognizing the respect that you received, made you the arbiter of peace in Ghana, and appointed you chairman of the Committee of Eminent Chiefs to resolve the lately seen affairs. A task which successfully accomplished to the admiration of all, including the student practice. In recognition of your immense knowledge and contribution to education, government appointed you Chancellor of the Otumfuo University of Science and Technology in Ghana. And the lessons of purpose in health and economic development. Among other things, we have taken a number of initiatives to the benefit of many people. Some of these include the Otumfuo Education Fund to generate resources as an effort to provide opportunities for quality primary, secondary, tertiary, and vocational education in Asante and Ghana as a whole. In 2000, we embarked on the Bureau's campaign to draw attention to the benefits of individual and group ownership of the education of orphan children. Since its inception, the Otumfuo Education Fund has benefited over 100,000 students at various levels. The member of the above foundations and one umbrella of the Otumfuo Secretary Charity Foundation, whose mandate appears unrestricted, and currently doing remarkably well in the areas of supporting food in different spheres of endeavor. A health fund established to pursue basic healthcare plans with clear objectives that include financial and material support for the reduction of maternal and infant mortality, glaucoma, and other eye diseases. Rural ulcer, which has become the bane of many rural dwellers in the country, as well as the eradication of the inborn disease. Supporting the Rotary Labs campaign to promote the inoculation of children against the systemic diseases, including polio. In recognition of your contribution to education in Ghana, the Association of Commonwealth Universities conferred on you the Simmons Award in April 2000. You have as well received honorary doctorate degrees from Essex County Campus, New York, USA, 22nd May 2001. University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, USA, 23 May 2001. Rhode State University, USA, 6 June 2001. University of Glasgow, Scotland, 2001. Bangor University of Science and Technology, 15 December 2001. University of Ghana, Lagos, 12 March 2004. Leon University, Accra, Nigeria, 26 November 2004. Metropolitan University, London, 10 December 2007. And University of East London, 1st November 2007. As part of your efforts towards promoting partnership with traditional authorities, we secured a well-planned grant with the approval of the government of Ghana for a pilot project entitled Promoting Partnership with Traditional Authorities Bodies. This singular initiative has challenged traditional leaders to demonstrate their capacity by using their own resources to augment the financial support made available by either the government or the orphan to help develop their respective communities. Under the project, new school buildings have been built, old ones rehabilitated, and teachers' residential quarters constructed and provided with potable water and electricity. HIV Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain, to the British of Kenya, His Excellency Otumfuo former UN Secretary, President Thabo Mbeki of South Africa, President Nelson Mandela of South Africa, Mr. John McCain, former Secretary General, the President of Ethiopia, the Holy Father Pope Francis, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Right Reverend Justin Welby, President Al-Hadi Hussein Baba of Sierra Leone, President Muhammad al-Gaddafi of Libya, King Mohammed VI of Morocco, President Oscar of Germany, President Jakaya Kikwete of Tanzania, King Mswati III of Swaziland, Alpha Conde of Mali, Blaise Compaoré of Burkina Faso, Laurent Gbagbo of Cote d'Ivoire, Mrs. Kufulis and the both former presidents of the World Bank. Prince Al-Wahid bin Talal, King Abdulaziz Al Saud of Saudi
Alexander Williams.
Head of Northwest Nigerian Muslim Mission, the Archbishop of London, King of Kabo King of South Africa, President Mnangagwa of Zambia, Sabbatai Roland Luwenda Mutebi II, the commander of Uganda in Uganda, Mr. Nkapa, former president of Tanzania, and Princess Anna Shakri Sutun, now Princess of China. Your Majesty, we have the privilege of addressing international and national forums and a number of leaders gatherings in Africa, Europe, and the United States. These include the International Cocoa Organization, London, the plenary session of the Economic Commission of Africa, Addis Ababa, the Distinguished Africa Address at Harvard University, the United Nations General Assembly High-Level Forum on the Culture of Peace in New York as keynote speaker on 30 September 2019. Bilateral talks with the President of the World Bank Group, Mr. David Malpass, in Washington. Additionally, we address students at the China Foreign Affairs University in China at the invitation of Chinese People's Association for Friends with Foreign Languages and the African Forum of Heads of States hosted by the President of Germany. Your Majesty, we also visited the International Tribunal for Rwanda, where we had discussions with members of the tribunal and exchanged ideas on alternative conflict resolution in Africa. Your Majesty, we established the Asantehene Economic Revitalization Group to promote credit and corporate investment in local industries, afforestation, and irrigation programs. Your reign as Asantehene has seen rapid growth and development of Asantehene and its environment in health, education, agriculture, and business. The unity of purpose and discipline among your servants is an admirable trait of a wise leader. Your Majesty, Otumfuo II, the University of People salutes you for your meritorious and distinguished service to the nation. Your commitment to promoting unity and development in Asantehene and other regions, as well as your significant contribution to humanity in the areas of water and sanitation, health, education, entrepreneurship, culture, and heritage. Purveyor of traditional jurisprudence, advocate of rule of law, promoter of peace and stability, visionary and generational thinker, entrepreneur, advocate for preservation of culture and heritage, statesman, distinguished traditional leader and role model. Please come forward to receive the by His Royal Majesty, Otumfuo, Dr. Osei.
Sene yera Otumfuo say to Nana Asantehene abenya edin foforo ade aka ne din no tesi a yera di ade Otumfuo Dr. Osei a otoso mienu Asantehene na akase yera de nanum nsem beto dwa nti yera ba bekasa kosi si yera bekasa ewie no yenyina yenye di ni nti adwumade no Asantema so TV ye koso Cape Coast University bia ya yedi yera Otumfuo abaso bode e ma no yewa jewie odne no nsem eba ba betudwa nti kaye ho ne yenko emra.
So, from Asantehene and Wesley Girls School to Alexander College, Holy Child, and St. Augustine's, the Methodist Church, the Catholic Church, and the Anglican Church led the way in providing the best in education and in conditions of gender equality long before the value of inclusivity gained universal acceptance. So, this university, on whom we have to depend for the training of our teachers, stands as a crowning jewel of the city of enlightenment, from whose commanding hills and sandy beaches millions of the best brains in our land have been molded, have grown, have grown the best talents who have kept the administration of our nation. So, this university began life in 1962 as the University College of Education, in a special relationship with the University of Ghana, Lagos, the prime mandate of producing graduate teachers to meet the manpower needs of the Ghana Education Service. So, it seems unbelievable today to recall that his total enrollment as at that time was 155 students, split between two departments, the Department of Science and the Arts. And the whole concept was deemed controversial in some circles. However, it survived the political upheavals of the period, and in 1971, it attained the status of a fully-fledged university with the right to grant its own degrees. So, the mandate of the university was expanded beyond the needs of education, and today it is a broader community of about 75,000 students from all disciplines. So, the founding fathers and their pioneering administrators have every reason to be proud of what they have bequeathed to the nation. And long may we continue to herald the achievements of this university. But even as we exalt these achievements and honor those whose hard work has made it possible, we cannot but pause and reflect on the fate and fortunes of the single subject for which this university was created, and I speak of education. So, it remains quite problematic to me that 60 years down the line, we are still grappling with the same challenges that informed the decision to establish this university in the first place. So, some historical background may be appropriate here. Although the Gold Coast carried the tag of a model colony, less than 10% of our population had been to school by 1951, when the people were allowed to elect the first nationalist government led by Dr. Kwame under the limited self-rule mandate. So, the government took the view that education was the key to the development of the country. Consequently, launched the accelerated education program to accelerate the pace and level of education. So, additionally, a program of adult education was launched to drive from mass literacy. In 1951, total enrollment in primary schools was 154,000, middle schools 66,000, secondary and technical schools 3,550, teacher training colleges 1,960. Total enrollment of the University College, forerunner of the University of Ghana, was 208 students. By 1961, enrollment had zoomed to over 210% for primary schools, 142% for middle schools, a staggering 438% for secondary and technical schools. So, 137% for teacher training, and an astonishing 478% for universities. So, it is important to note that the bulk of this expansion was funded by the state. Indeed, even the churches who had been carrying the financial burden of education at the height of the colonial administration were required to gradually disengage. So, following the overthrow of the First Republic, the eminent scholar Gonzales headed a commission to undertake the first of what has become a seemingly unending series of reforms of the education system. The Papon Committee recommended the adoption of 6 years of primary school followed by 4 years of secondary education and 2 years of advanced education, leading to a 3-year university course. So, less than 4 years after the Papon reforms, another military coup led to the establishment of another committee, this time led by the Dean of the Faculty of Education of this university, Professor N.P. Zobo, to review the reform. The Professor Committee makes social equity a fundamental thrust in the delivery of sound educational outcomes, arguing against the common entrance examination for the selection of pupils for secondary schools as skewed in favor of children of the elite in society. So, specifically, it recommended a new system which retained the 6-year primary school system, but split the secondary system into 3 years of junior high school and 2 years of senior secondary school lower division and 2 years of senior secondary upper division. So, global reforms formed the basis for the far-reaching reforms of 1987. In preparing for the restoration of constitutional rule in 1992, the Republican Constitution provided for free compulsory education for all children of school age within 10 years. So, the new government led by Flight Lieutenant Rollins, Rollins' government launched the program of free compulsory universal education in 1996. So, in a seminal study for the British Department of International Development, Nimoy Thompson and Leslie Kasirepo observed in two cohorts. Broadly, the objectives of EFRI were in line with the recommendations of the World Declaration on Education for All, adopted after the World Bank UN-sponsored World Conference on Education for All in Thailand in 1990. The declaration stated that every person, child, youth, and adult shall be able to benefit from educational opportunities designed to meet their basic learning needs, and all countries were required to achieve universal basic education by the year 2000. So, the rollout of EFRI was followed by a National Education Forum in November 1999 to examine the prospects of Ghana moving towards compliance with the World Declaration on Education for All. Barely 2 or 3 years after, in 2002, another education sector review was undertaken to examine the outcome. Since then, every government has undertaken a serious review of education system. The troubling fact, however, is that each review has either been driven by austerity or constrained by fiscal malice and not necessarily by the desire to achieve the stated goals. So we have to live constantly with the contradiction between governments holding education as a high priority only for education to become the first casualty of any fiscal downturn. So, against that background, the mixed response to the recent free senior high school scheme has not been a surprise. So, the Minister of Education here would want to do more. Like, he doesn't have adequate funds to do what he wants to do. So, there's no doubt that the free senior high school program is the most audacious piece of social intervention in our fourth world. The pre-integrated program for free education covered primary education and later the university. The secondary sector was beyond the capacity of the state. None of the reforms since have dared move the dial through last week. The decision to take the plan, therefore, had to be truly ambitious, and it is no wonder it has kept education at the top of national discourse. So, there is undoubted merit in the government argument that if we are preparing our children to compete in the global economy of today, then they should be entitled to the same level of basic education as children in other climates. Since basic education elsewhere in campus, secondary or high school is only fair that we also upgrade our basic education. In that sense, therefore, offering free senior high school is doing no more than meeting the obligation to provide the basic education for all. So, it is not only in Ghana that this becomes relevant. The background paper prepared for the International Commission on Financing Global Education Opportunity, Shakira Mustafa and Philip Strauss noted with reference to primary schools progress. The completion of primary school is no guarantee that children have acquired basic academic skills. So, surveys in a number of low-income countries document that many adults who have received some schooling 5 to 6 years or less are functionally illiterate or illiterate. So, that is an experience Ghana identifies with, and it addresses the case for upscaling basic education. So, but this cannot be that simple. It only underscores the enormity of the challenge associated with the changing
changing dynamics of education, the nation feels in our times. So, now here's a section. Education as a basic right of every child. All nations signed up to the United Nations and its agencies to provide basic education for all. In Africa, education is deemed so critical, the African Union has declared the year of Africa year, this year, the African Year of Education. So, in Ghana, it has been part of the objective of every government from as far apart as the nationalist government limited itself in 1951. We see it not just as a human right, it is an economic necessity, an investment in the economic and social well-being of every nation. In the background paper already cited, the authors made the point that when any child fails to acquire basic skills needed to function as a productive, responsible member of society, society as a whole, not to mention the individual child, loses. The cost of educating children is far outweighed by the cost of not educating them. So, yes, though the cost of not providing education would ultimately be higher, nations have to contend in the first place with the overriding problem of mobilizing the resources needed to invest in education. Without the resources, even our most desirable goals cannot be achieved. And that sadly has been the problem not only for Ghana but for Africa. It is the reason we are obliged to make sure that our ambitions are matched by our pockets. So, as we have already noted, every educational reform undertaken in Ghana has been driven by financial constraints arising from national economic matters. Whereas in the developed world, educational reforms are undertaken to ensure that the content of education matches the economic and social needs of society. Here we are driven solely by what is available to spend in the fiscal space. So, it is for this reason that even a audacious scheme like the free senior high school as I mentioned, which one would expect to receive universal acclamation has instead been mired in some controversy, with some blaming it for exacerbating the fiscal malice of the economy. And yet, even with that problem, Ghana has yet to reach the universal benchmark for national spending on education as a percentage of gross domestic product. So, in the latest UNESCO World Education Finance Watch Report of 2024, the scorecard which monitors progress towards achieving the universal benchmark for spending on education shows on the road. Only the high-income countries are more likely to be classified as either having achieved or having a high probability of 75% of achieving the 2025 benchmark for spending on education. So, the good news for us, however, is that Ghana is one of the only 15 developing countries confirmed as being on track to reach the benchmark in 2025. So, in effect, assuming the current program continues, we should meet that universal benchmark for spending on education to GDP. That certainly should be well done. But if the focus is on the rebalance of resources, the effect will be well said that more need than right. So, every dramatic increase in enrollment affects the physical resources and infrastructure of schools, affects learning materials, and above all requires a corresponding increase in the number of qualified teachers. Beyond these, as we have experienced more than once in the past 2 decades, every expansion at the secondary level has a huge impact on the tertiary sector. Yet, at no time have we seen an attempt to coordinate the implementation of this secondary sector reform of the universities. When at a stroke, enrollment in senior high schools are doubled, the universities have to grade themselves for an inevitable surge in demand for undergraduate studies, with no prior consideration for its effect on fiscal resources. Our universities are already bursting at the seams, with rising student population virtually overwhelming fiscal resources and infrastructure. So, it should be obvious that important as the senior high school may be, focus on this should not lead to a misalignment of resources, nor should it become the focus of all attention in national discourse. Rather, we should recognize the necessity to look at the challenge of education in its totality. First, we may do well to re-examine the structure of the education system from primary primary to secondary to tertiary education. There's a separation between junior and senior high school working. What has become of the products of junior high school who are unable to proceed to senior high school? How functional have the vocational institutes become? How relevant have they been in the job market? Is the system providing for the critical middle level needs as we expected the polytechnic and technical universities to provide? Sure. Secondly, we need another look critically at the financing of education. What resources are available and how they are allocated to the various levels to ensure equity? This is at the root of all the discourse. Education is an expensive investment. The expenditure on buildings alone is huge, but buildings alone do not provide education. Sure. Learning and teaching materials must be available. In the 21st century, there should be no school without computers, without the means to provide the basic ICT skills. And we should ensure our teachers are reasonably remunerated for the critical service they provide. Sure. Sure. Thirdly, we need to reappraise the content of education from pre-tertiary to tertiary to see how far they go to meet the needs of the economy and society in this fast-changing world. Sure. There are many areas of the system crying for updating and many anomalies requiring correction. The ongoing prioritization of STEM education is a step in the right direction, but it's necessary to caution about the risk of restricting it to an elite class and leaving the broader system with no knowledge of these critical skills. Sure. For the sake of equity, we should ensure equal opportunities for all to acquire these vital skills in their education plan. Sure. Education must lead the nation's response to the incredible challenges of climate change. Sure. If we are to fully appreciate the gravity of the threat to our planet and come to terms with what needs to be done to obviate the consequences, the education system must infuse in us, from the pre-primary stage to the tertiary, the science and the knowledge which should guide our actions. It is the only way we are going to make it possible for our communities to appreciate the necessity to protect our forests and our river bodies and restore the respect which our forefathers had for their environment. So, we need to reflect seriously on how we refocus education to guide us towards a sustainable world. So, I'm sure this audience will share the need for considerable reappraisals at the tertiary level to ensure our universities are fully aligned to the needs of society. It is right for the nation that we seek to maintain high standards in our universities, but it will be astonishing to demand higher entry requirements for some courses than the renowned Ivy League and Oxford universities in the United States and Europe. So I find it incomprehensible that we have deliberately capped the number of students our universities should admit for medicine and law, even though we have a huge vacancy of doctors and a large number of students who have met all the qualifying standards. So we have third situation in which parents of Ghanaian students have to find foreign exchange to send their children to Europe and other places to study medicine abroad, and then return to be employed by the Ghana Health Service. Sure. Assuming there are some impediments in the way of increasing the intake of students, would it not make more sense to remove those impediments to allow for all qualified students to gain admission and perhaps offer space for foreign students who will be as in foreign parents? So, beyond these key professions, it remains a sole issue whether the education system is producing the skills needed to keep business and industry moving. However, we may try within the educational establishment to refocus education, it will be to no avail unless we can get the national economy into good shape. So, it remains incontrovertible that only the state can deliver the resources needed to achieve the goal of education for all. And only a strong, resilient, and sustainable economy can generate the needed resources. So, because education is so critical for the state, and the state is correspondingly critical for education, I see the need for a special kind of relationship between the state and the education establishment. So, Mr. Chancellor, Chair, you will be aware that we made education the focus of our brain when we ascended the Golden Street 25 years ago. So, as a concrete expression of of our commitment, we established the education fund, which has become an example of the support that education can derive from non-state actors. So, I've also had the privilege to be the Chancellor of Primary University of Science and Technology. As Chancellor, by the way, I was appointed by the university, not the government. So, as Chancellor, I've had the task lending support to the university establishment as it struggles to obtain the resources they need in pursuit of their goals, while through the education fund, we have tried to demonstrate what non-state actors within the community can do to generate resources to support education. So, combining the role of both the mobilizing consumer education resources have given me a perspective from which to ponder some troubling questions. So, is education delivered the goals and objectives for Ghana? Has education delivered the intended outcomes? Has education justified the sacrifices that demanded of the people? Has Ghana education been truly fit for purpose? If these questions come as a shock to the nation and probably also to this audience, it can only be because we have avoided the need for continuous critical evaluation of the outcome of our investments, not only in education but in several other spheres. So, regardless of the lapses and shortfalls, it is incontrovertible that as a nation, Ghana has invested enormous resources in education. The explosion in tertiary education has produced a multitude of highly educated men and women with the skills set to manage and direct the affairs of the nation. So, in every sector of our society, our affairs are in the hands of actors who are not just educated but highly qualified. So, our political class, at both the executive and the legislative levels, with responsibility for policy formulation and direction, is led and dominated by men and women who are highly educated. We have a judiciary service which is very highly educated. So, my lady, so, our banks and insurance services are highly educated. Our civil service is highly educated. Our customs and internal revenue service actors are very highly educated. Our police and security services are highly educated. Our military is highly educated. Logically, you would expect this output of highly educated leaders to translate into greater efficiency in the management of our affairs, particularly in the management of the national economy. So, when I hear the endless lamentations about our economy is in distress, when I see our legislature in Britain unable to agree on issues of national interest, when I'm told about the declining public confidence in law enforcement, I can't help asking myself, is that what education can deliver for all our investment and all our sacrifices? So, we should not forget that financing education has required enormous sacrifices. Through the worst of economic circumstances, the state has been obliged to devote a considerable percentage of our tax revenue to education. So, ironically, the bulk of this revenue will come from farmers, some of whom are the least educated and probably the poorer section of society. So we have the incongruous situation of the poor financing the education of the rich. So finally, we have the personal sacrifices parents make in the education of their homes. So all these sacrifices are justified as investment in the future well-being of the world and society as a whole. So, but if the outcome of education is to produce an army of skilled and able young men and women who cannot find jobs to happily apply their acquired skills, and if continually we are confronted with questions about competency in the management of our resources, so how can we respond to anyone who questions the ultimate value we place in education? So, by raising the question, we do not seek to cast doubt on the value of education per se. We are rather prodding the nation, and particularly academia, to be alive to the necessity of undertaking a rigorous evaluation of the outcome of education relative to the benefits accruing to the nation to give us the tools to correct any lapses before public confidence is eroded. So, in fact, So, there was a period in our history during the First Republic when academia was deemed to be closeted in an ivory tower, a distance away from the real world. That is no longer an issue. You are as integrated into society and in tune with this force as it is possible to be. So, you are the teachers who are preparing and mentoring the men and women who are taking control of our lives. As political leaders, judges, economists, bankers, mandarins, diplomats, military and police officers. As teachers, you are like parents who should have a lifetime interest in the performance of your students. So, as their success inspires you, so their failure should burden you. So, beyond the personal relationship between teacher and student, there's an even greater linkage that needs to be strengthened. The university is the storehouse of knowledge. All the knowledge required for nation building. More than the storehouse of knowledge, the university is the laboratory for research, cultivation, and discovery of answers to the social physical needs of society. You will all be aware of how much the works of universities have informed policies that have shaped countries and have revolutionized society. So, countries and societies through time. So, much of the scientific and other discoveries that have revolutionized society owe their roots to the universities and to the collaboration between universities and either the state or private business. So, unfortunately, in our country, there's hardly any evidence of the meaningful collaboration that needs to exist between the state and the universities. Perhaps, one reason the role of academia has been downplayed is that we have allowed their basic political divisions to permeate our sacred campuses. So, for partisan combat instead of having for imbibing and dispensing knowledge. So, it is time, in my view, for all of us to wake up to the negative impact this has caused and make an effort to address the situation. So, we can begin fashioning a new relationship between state and academia that engages the expertise of academia in the process of policy formulation on a continuous basis. So, I have no doubt about how beneficial it would be for the country to create a unique background of experts from academia, business leaders, traditional leaders, and government tasked to address the seemingly intractable problems of the economy. So, this will be the beginning of continuous collaboration between academia, the state, and captains of business in finding solutions to many of our social problems. So, for this to happen, however, we will need academia to win itself of broad partisanship and cultivate it and ensuring a culture of rigorous objectivity. So, this should allow the universities as a collective responsibility to establish the right mechanism for rigorous continuous evaluation of the performance of national institutions and help inject some efficiency into the system. So, to help us inspire a new era in which the achievement of measurable national goals take precedence over the pursuit of personal gains. So, with an environment in which the state can reach out across party boundaries to draw on the patriotic service of its citizens without attracting unwelcome labels. So, the good thing is that there's more than a silver lining ahead. Ghana remains one country nobody can afford to lose confidence. So, given the combined human and natural resources at our disposal, and the heritage from which we have grown, we will only fail if we want to. And I don't believe there's any Ghanaian who contemplates failure anytime. Let's hope then that we will not give in to any doctrine of despair, but rise with the challenge to herald the new era for Ghana. So, thank you. So,
Your Royal Majesty, you would take the alumni oath, and this would be administered by the National President of the UCC Alumni Association. I'll call on Mr. Sam Abdulaziz, whilst His Royal Majesty takes the out of the line, please.